Yeah, and it really shows, like, in the book how more about war, how cruel it can be, how hurtful it can be.
I mean, I do think that the movies did a great job. I mean, the whole point of the movies was that it was a war film, and it was shot like a war film. So you definitely felt in the action. You definitely felt like those scenes when they happened. But I think the problem that the movies had that the books didn't was those in-between breaths. So like when you went to the districts and you were a part of the war, it felt very realistic. You felt very much in the war. But when you're in District 13 or you're even in District 12, you know, you get a separate, like the war is off far away and not so close to home. And in the books, that never happened. You were always consciously aware that it was a war.
Yeah, there was that, but I was talking about like, not also about the prisoners that they took, that they had in there. Like I always told you that I had issues that they never showed the prep team.
Yeah, again, I don't have an issue with the prep team because they are very much secondary characters and there's only a limited amount of space and time that you can give to someone in a movie, even though it was split up into 2 movies. However, I would have actually liked it since what's her name? Effie. Effie was a representation of the prep team and that one guy that's supposed to have the job that she ends up getting. I forget his name in the book. Because it's someone else in the book. I forget his name. But either way, she's supposed to be a representation of both of them. I would have they make a joke that she's free to come in and go in and leave whenever she wants. And she was like, but I'm a prisoner. I would have actually liked it to be yes, like she was a prisoner. Like what happened to the prep team would have happened to her.
But yeah, they were Effie wasn't treated like how they were treated. They were treated like so much worse.
No, so they were imprisoned for stealing bread. And yes, you're right. The means and the things that they did were horrid, and it did show a darker side to District 13. That's what I'm saying, is they had an opportunity because they weren't going to use the prep team because that's too many people and too many storylines to add to a 2-hour film. They still had Effie. They could have had it where Effie unknowingly took an extra set of bread because, as we know, it is customary for capital people to hoard food. Therefore, that's why the prep team was in prison. So it makes sense that someone as capital as Effie would do the exact same thing, therefore end up in the same situation.
Yeah, but they didn't even show that. She never even did.
No, yes. So my point of view is just that they had a missed opportunity with Effie. Yeah. It generally did not have to be the prep team. I understand that you like the prep team. And
they could have done that with her then.
Yeah, but you're right, though. I was rewatching the first 2 movies, and they do give enough scenes to the prep team to justify that scene coming out in part 1 for the prep team.
Yeah,
even though
they could have still used that scene out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a different type of
situation.
But the reason that I think they didn't do it, and I don't understand why. Again, I think they were focused on a war film, and the problem with that is that most war films show only good versus evil. They make a very black and white type of movie. At least that's what I've felt like every time I see a war movie. I'm like either pro or against whoever the movie is about. I mean,
that's part of war too. Food shortages and things like that too. You know, you ration things and, you know, you get punished for taking food because things are portionalized and, you know, separated because, you know, you got to get through it, you know, because, you know, there's so many people to feed, and you got to get through it to make sure everybody's fed, you know, because there's too many people and you don't know if there's going to be enough to get through.
Yes, again, so you're basing it on the information that we get in the books. And yes, but understand that the film was filmed as a war film. And literally that's what the director says in the behind the scenes documentaries and everything. That is what he's stated. He creates it into a war film. The problem with a war film is it is very much black and white. It shows you whoever you're following is the good guy, whoever you're not following is the bad guy. The problem with that is that the scene that we wanted to see in there and was the missed opportunity shows a grayer side of District 13. However, the rebels were supposed to always be the good guys. Again, that's how most war films are done. Like even look at the most recent one, which was Godzilla -1. It was the Japanese. And no offense, I, knowing World War II, felt bad for the Japanese. I was pro-Japanese in that one movie because that's how it's filmed. Japanese are the good guys, Americans are the bad guys. And that's how that, that black and white. And so that's the problem with war films, is that they very much are one-sided. I think the only exception for that is probably a Nazi movie, but I don't think I've ever seen a pro-Nazi movie to ever have a reference. But yeah, that's why I kind of feel that in making it a war film, they removed a lot of what was sketchy about District 13, which personally makes the ending of part 2 very weird and very personal and very much like it was Katniss getting revenge versus her stopping a snow tube.